Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's good to be with you. I am returning to a very old WIP in the Garden of Fairytale Animals, or Rhapsody in the Forest, by Kanoko Egusa. And as some of you will notice, this is a page that I started quite a long time ago, but I want to come back to it and see how much of it I can finish. So today I'm going to be using Prismacolor pencils, and then we will see how far we go. I don't know yet what to do for the background. I don't know whether to leave it the way it is, and that is part of why I stopped coloring this page. I didn't actually know how to finish it and wrap it up. However, I still do have my color swatches here and some of my plans, so I know that I can pick it up and carry on. But I am also thinking of bringing in some gel pens for the trimming up here and on the edges of the window there. So we're going to see how we get on. I'm going to carry on with the autumnal theme. I am toying with the idea of going a very dark reddish brown, but I'm going to grab out the Prismacolor color combos I have, and we're going to look and see what we can organize. So let's see. Alright, so as you know, I use my Colourful Country Life's Prismacolor combos as well as some of her Polychromos combos. My combos here are my own, and then here are from my Colourful Country Life. So if we look at the back of this, I'm sort of leaning maybe towards this sort of tinge going on here, where it maybe bring in some blacks to really darken it. And I think I'll do that for the base of the this sort of hut. I don't particularly like coloring in this style of building because I don't really know where it ends and where it starts, but I'm thinking this is the edge of the frame. So if we color what's inside, it should be fine. All right, let me pull up the live stream on my YouTube channel because I haven't actually got that going. Oh, there we go. All right. So I'm going to put these to one side and I'm going to just see how we go. All right, for the pigeon, I'm going to need a reference photo. I just work so much better with reference photos, even if I just go onto Google. It just helps me see where all the coloring is and kind of helps me figure out what I'm doing. Can be quite tricky to get the right angle though, but generally the colors are sort of the same. Alright, bear with me, it's been a long day. Right, so I'm not really sure if this is actually a wood pigeon, but I'm going to treat it like a wood pigeon. So we want a bit of green here in the neck. So I'm going to pull out all these pencils. Well, between the myriad of pencils that I've got here. So while I'm doing that, I will show you my mug. So in August I went with my son and we went to a pottery place and we each got something to paint, and this is what I chose to paint, and then I added some little flower details. So I decided instead of using it as a tea mug, I was going to use it as a pencil holder. So I've got a whole lot of pencils in here, amongst many other things. Alright, so I'm going to bring out my black pencil. and slowly figure out where everything is. See, I've even got polychromos pencils in here. Right, so I need probably periwinkle or slate grey. So here, somewhere in here. Like, where is everything? And I don't always keep track of where I put all my pencils. So normally that's a sign of, like, you need to redo. Alright, so I need clay rose. So black, I've got clay rose. Alright, there I found a 10% French grey. Promise you, I have polychromos pencils in here and who knows what else. It's ridiculous. Oh my goodness. Like, practical hunt. Where is everything? Alright, let's pull out the polys. I'm not going to play with polys. Don't need yellow. Pencil extenders and all of that. I need a peacock green. A jade green, I've misplaced my slate green. I find that when I can't find anything, I actually it almost makes it worse. Okay, I need a 50% French grey, so I've got those ones. We'll have to use a 90% warm grey because I have misplaced my 90% cool grey. Alright, we will just leave it a big mess and we will start. Hi Kenny, how are you? Yes, it did get progress relatively well, and then I got stuck. So everything came to a grinding halt, which is just really unfortunate. But I will see how much I can do today and sort of get cracking. Hopefully we can figure this out. So I am thinking along here, sort of like around here, I'm going to bring in that like green sort of head that he's got going on. I'm going to very gently use the periwinkle. So this is where I'm going to color mix. Alright, and then most of the chest is this clay rose sort of colour. I don't think it's particularly difficult once you know where your colours go. Then at some point here there will be some white, so maybe underneath here we'll leave that bit white. And then by placing my colours, I at least get an idea of where I'm going and what I'm planning on doing. Give you some light umber. Alright, in the beak we can use Goldenrod. And some henna for that little bit, and then we'll leave the other side white. Alright, so now I'm going to kind of try and build up my layers. So let's see. Yes, so this whole page I did live stream videos for, so everything I've done is on the channel. I think it's under the Kanoka Egusa playlist as well as the live stream playlist. It was a couple of years ago, and I am aware that some people have been looking through the videos and are really needing me to finish this up. So I thought, actually, let's get it done, because that would be the right thing to do instead of just leaving it as a WIP, because I can't figure out what I'm doing. So I've been using some of the 90% warm grey just to deepen up there. I do get a little ahead of myself. Alright, so Peacock green kind of along here. And then the Jade green. And then the clay rose over the brown, the light umber. Oh, excuse me. I started this page before I realized that Black Widow pencils actually work really well on this paper. So if you color match, you could easily use Black Widows on here. And then you've got 10% French grey. Which is really more like a blending pencil. Noelle, how are you? Alright, I'm going to mix now my periwinkle with some of this grey. So I'm just going to do it very lightly because I don't want to, I don't want it to kind of lose the blue, but I'm also going to go over it. I'm glad you're doing well. Has the weather started getting a little bit cooler for you, or is it still quite warm? Alright, then we can use a powder blue to sort of blend this a bit. So you're still getting like a bluish sort of grey. Use a 70% warm grey probably here. Alright, that was the periwinkle, and then here I'm actually going to bring the clay rose back in. Just sort of try to blend out my shadow area. I'm quite keen to keep that light. Oh wow, it's still quite hot by you. My goodness. Alright, so I'm going to bring in some of this blue again, because the wings are kind of a mixture between this muddy brown and these blue sort of textures. Probably even use some of the jade green. Right, 50% French grey. Oh, I'm sure. It's very hot, especially now that we're going into October. Does it get quite cold during the winter by you? Or even during the autumn? Oh dear. My one guinea pig has found his way into the area I thought I'd fenced off. Oh boy. It makes for fun later on when I have to get him into his cage. He's a clever... I tell you one thing, I'm learning actually, guinea pigs are actually quite clever little creatures. Oh well, never mind. I'll sort it out later. Oh boy. It's so tricky because I'm still trying to tame them. And the one is even more skittish than the other. And I try really hard not to scare them or hurt them, but still handle them so they can get tame. Yeah. Black pencil. So that's just henna and goldenrod with the grey, just to lighten it up a bit. Hey Shani, how are you? Oh wow, Noelle, that's quite a late fall for you, only coming round in November. Wow. Okay, I think I'm done with my pigeon, so that's good. So for these things here, I'm probably going to make them more orangey. So let's use some goldenrod. And I'll use some yellow ochre and that sort of thing. Whatever I can find that I have left in here. Oh, here's the yellow ochre. Okay, let's see. So I'm coming down to this side here. Oh wow, seesaw month, yeah. No, I'm not using Black Widows on this paper. Well, I use it on this paper, but not on this picture. These are my Prismas. Don't worry. You're safe from Black Widows. I actually had planned to go into Magical City again and do a Vincent van Gogh sort of style. But then I thought, actually, I really should finish this page. And then once I've done this page, I can go and do my more flamboyant, playing around kind of pages. then oh, this is pumpkin orange. I think I have decided that I really like gouache paint. Find it is a lot of fun to use. Oh no, don't worry. Okay, so I think here I might actually use a gel pen. Sometimes I really don't fancy colouring in these really fine details. And then here we've got like a chain, so we can do this a gold chain. I did mention Black Widows in the sense that I know they work, well, for me they work really well on this paper. I'm just not using Black Widows for this page. I started this page before I had Black Widows. And I don't really like Prismacolors on this paper. I find it, you have to use a lot of very light layers and really build up that way. Whereas with the Black Widows, I can just be quick about it. So just depends what you're looking for. Oh, thank you, Carly. How are you? It's great to have you join. Right, where am I going? See, my concern is if I put, I can't put black along here. I really don't know what to color this. That's why I stopped this page. It felt like it got too complex and frustrating. So this is probably like dark sepia or something like that. And then here we've got some Sandbar brown. And some 10% French grey. So you can use dark chocolate and then light umber. And just blend that in there. Okay, I'm going to base these cones in a 10% French grey. I have my Inktense out on the table here. I've got gouache paints, I've got polys, so I've got a myriad of things that I can do the background in once I eventually decide what I'm going to do. Right, Sandbar brown. Me neither. I haven't started colouring anything fallish yet, except for today. To be quite honest, I'm finding it difficult to get into that seasonal colouring. It's sort of there, but it's not really taking. I guess some people just aren't autumnal or seasonal colorists. You see all your books and you think you don't have anything to color. I know that feeling. Sometimes having too many books is not helpful. Though I have found lately it's very helpful to have different things on the go. So I currently have 2 crochet projects. I've got a jumper or a cardigan type thing, and I'm trying to crochet a blanket. But I want to buy some different yarn so I can crochet a more like a granny square blanket. I've got my colouring, then I'm interested in gouache painting, I'm reading books. I've got a lot of books I need to read and want to read. Then I've got my journaling. But what I'm finding is that by having more than one hobby, sometimes it helps because the brain gets a break from, colouring or whatever it is, and then when I go back to colouring, I actually feel like I colour better because I've had that mental break. Hi Anna, how are you? Oh Kenny, I hope you do get well enough to colour Christmas pages. Oh, cool. You're going to buy some pumpkins and paint faces on them. So is it like clay pumpkins that you get to paint or actual pumpkins? How does it work? Oh, thank you. He's a very, very cute little squirrel. I think the one is a chipmunk. So here's, I think, a squirrel. There's a chipmunk, which means I need to make the squirrel up ahead the same colors. But I forgot what colors I've used, so I'm just going to have to improvise. I might actually make the... Oh, actual pumpkins. That's cool. All right, PC946. Oh gosh, I had to read your comment very carefully there, Yana. Like, what? You nearly overdosed, and then I had to finish reading the sentence. Like, oh, okay. That's what happens when you just glance up quickly. Oh, I'm so sorry. Well, you did this with chroma flows. Wow, how did that work out for you? I do wonder if the English edition of these books has a different paper quality to the original. Okay, so I don't like the Sandbar brown. I'm just going to bring some burnt umber. I'm glad I wasn't the only one. Well, thanks, Kenny, for joining me in my double take. I am sorry. I tend to, from time to time, just be a bit too quick, and I have to tell myself to slow down and either read things properly or just actually stop and register. I mean, hubby said to me, look, it's quite chilly at the office. If you need to put the heating on, put the heating on. So I thought, I went, I had a look, and I didn't register the abbreviations on each marking for the water and then the central heating. So I asked my eldest son, like, which one's which? Not his fault at all, but I put on the hot water instead of the central heating, thinking I had put the central heating on. And all because I didn't slow down, look carefully, and register. So, yeah. It just happens. No worries, Yana. Oh, okay, cool. So this paper, you had no problems with the chroma flow. That's really cool. I wonder if the Romantic Country Third Tale book has more autumnal pages to it than the other two books. I'm just starting to think slowly, like, you know, what books do I have that lend themselves to autumnal pages? So my eldest son introduced me today to Super Tic-Tac-Toe, where you have a tic-tac-toe grid, but within each square is its own tic-tac-toe. So it was a very interesting game. At least it held our attention for a good half hour. In the end, though, we drew the game, so I said to him, nope, I wasn't going to let him win. If he was going to win, he'd have to beat me fair and square. Alright, so I'm going to try and deepen up my shadows with... No, never let them win. Never. Yes, beat me fair and square. Oh dear. It's the only thing with Prismas, they can break. I'm trying to sharpen my pencil and it's sliding between my fingers. Okay, this is this is not working for me. Oh my goodness. Alright, the polychromos black pencil. No, polys don't work. That doesn't work. Okay, black pencil. Prisma black pencil. I've got an electric sharpener, but I find it eats my pencils quite a lot, and it's a bit temperamental, so it doesn't always pick up the pencil. If I use the Derwent pencils or the polys, it's fine. So I found just a regular makeup, you know, pencil sharpener that works fine. The problem is a lot of my pencils are getting quite small now, so I actually really need to go through my Prisma set and see what needs to be replacing and start replacing them. No, oh no, they're seriously, there's no end to where my guinea pigs will explore. Don't, like, they're nibbling on metal. Oh my gosh. I put them in this room because they actually explore the most in here. I don't know what it is about this room that they just really like. At least they get their, you know, exercise. They chewing on boxes and yeah. Hopefully they don't go into the kids' toys. But don't go to the Lego. Alright, I'm just about done with this now. I'm getting like enough with the pine cones. Okay, there we go. So that lower part done. Okay, so here I need to do like gold. So I'm using the wrong colors, but I would use a jasmine, a light umber, a dark brown, and a black. I have here like wood coming down here, so I'm going to do this bit. It curves up, which is making me think that that's part of something. Okay, black pencil. When all else fails, just use black. Alright, so we'll come down to here and we will somehow figure out the squirrel, the windows. Oh wow, 19 books to be colored. Wow, that's cool. Well, at least you got a double page and a single page finish. That's an accomplishment. Oh, horizon, that sounds fun. You'll need like a landscape page. I must actually go look at your bingo again and see what can I do, because that really looked like a lot of fun. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you like the pigeon colors. Okay, so I want to do that color here. I think that could work really nicely. So I need espresso and a few other colors. Black raspberry, burnt ochre, oh cool. A page in Mythographic Dream Garden. That sounds cool. Yeah, I have officially have no clue where all my pencils are. And then I've got ones like this where you can't see the numbers. So it's really not helping me at all. Okay, so I really need to replace my pencils. I've got spare sets, so I just need to get in and use them. Okay, 1081. That's the thing with live streams, you get to see it all, whereas if you film and often live, you don't get to see the behind the scenes, the times where your brain just goes, what is going on? I'm like, oh, okay, it's Chestnut. See, I didn't know what PC1081 was. I had to look it up. Now I know it's Chestnut. Alright, now I gotta go find it. And no, it's not that one. And I'm not one of those people that does a good job at putting things back in the proper order. So I kind of go out of order and then I eventually get fed up, go back in, reorganize everything, and literally within a couple of weeks it will be all disorganized. So I have most of the color combos here all written out, which is the correct way to do things. I have a mess on my desk of all the pencils I'm using, and I will do my very best to put in the description box which pencils I'm using for this page. So this is burnt ochre. I went through a phase when I didn't actually keep track of my color combos, and then I realized it was a disservice, and I went back to having a reference of color combos. So the nice thing with writing down your color combos is at least that way when you stop a page you can quickly get back into it, and it's easier to pick up where you left off. Oh, that's cool that you have this page in Rhapsody and in this actual book too. That's very cool. How did you color the background and the house part? Okay, soft pastels. So the question is, do you think pan pastels are worth the cost? Are they worth investing in? Or is it better to just use soft pastels like Munyo or that sort of thing? Cool, I love that. No. Oh, I love the honesty. Oh, okay, they're never set for you. So when you say they don't set, what exactly do you mean by that? Because I've never used them, so I'm very curious to understand. Okay, Yana, you like soft and oil pastels. Oh, I see, they smear. Yeah, that would be a bit frustrating. My biggest thing is I don't want to spend so much money to buy them and then I accidentally drop one and then that's it, or yeah, or they don't work out as nicely as I thought. I think I'd almost rather take the money and buy like Holbein's or what's that? Luminance pencils, for instance. Oh no, it too came cracked. Well, at least you know you can fix them. That's very handy. Okay, I need to blend this out. So I might actually use a little bit of cream. How do you find oil pastels blend in coloring books? I mean, is it a specific type of textured paper that works best for them, or do they work well on most paper? What's your experience blending oil pastels? Okay, so we have this like this, and that looks okay. I haven't made it as dark, but it's fine. I might actually make a grey squirrel. Oh, okay, that's cool. So they work great in Romantic Country and Maria Trolle. Alright, I'm going to use a gold gel pen up here. I just want this to sparkle. You can color it. You don't have to use a gel pen. You can color it gold and it will look beautiful. I do want to sparkle. I like sparkles. I've never heard of oil pastels being crumbly. I know soft pastels can crumble. I find oil pastels, if they don't stay in their cover, like in their wrapping, they get dirty very quickly. So my youngest son decided when he was much younger that he needed to take the protective paper off my oil pastels, and he said to me, "Mommy, they need to be naked." So I now have very dirty, quotation marks, naked oil pastels. But they're really old. They're like a cheap set of Pentel pastels. Oh, that's cool to know. So it looks like a lot of books actually work well with oil pastels. Right, I am now technically stalling because I don't know what to do. And I'm trying to work out whether to do a very dark brown house or a light brown. And maybe what I need to do is do dark. Maybe I just do dark. Okay. Could throw in some green actually. Maybe I'll do like a darkish green, like a blacky green kind of color. So let's see how we do. I'm going to use a kelp green and then lay over it a grey, maybe even a black. I'll lay over a black because I've lost all my dark greys. Oh, it's terrible. Okay, I'll start up here. Probably use Inktense pencils. Get away with it quite quickly. So do it like that, and then, oh, that's clever. Test the mediums on the back of the books and see what works, what doesn't. You can go over it with an olive green. Actually, let's not do that. Let's use a green ochre. I think that will give me more of the color I want. Alright, I'm going to rub this all out. Okay, so I'm going to try this instead. See, this is where you should swatch. I remember the green ochre has got like tinges of green in it, but it's not green. You could really get away with making it look grungy. Right, so I think this will work quite nicely, hopefully. I also don't want to deviate too far from the color palette. I want to try and keep it autumnal. And I'm concerned if I put too much green, it's going to look not autumnal. So I don't mind there being bits of green in it, but I don't want it heavy green. And I don't really want to bring in purples because I don't really have purples in here. Although actually a purple would contrast really nicely. So could potentially do like a purpley background, like a black grape or something like that, or black cherry. Alright, I'm not going to do the whole house on camera. I'll just do a section, but at least I think that will work all right. Sorry guys, I just want to fix this one fencing quickly. Sorry piggies, I could have lifted it up. Because if I don't and it falls on me, it's not going to be fun. I've been pushing this. Go on, out. Out. Go on. Oh no. Oh, good gracious. Oh, good gracious. Okay, let's do this. Make it fall on the toy bucket. Alright, there we go. I almost trapped the poor pig. No, don't go that way. Go out. There you go. Alright, we're back. Rescuing guinea pigs from being squished by fencing. Alright, so this isn't too bad. The biggest challenge is making sure everything that needs to stand out from the house stands out. So I actually might leave the background. Or maybe do like a watercolor effect where it runs down, maybe from the log at the bottom. Alright, I'm going to just do this section and then we'll move on to the squirrel, and hopefully that will be that. Well, it's better than a bright green, that's for sure. Right, so I had youngest son had his birthday this weekend, so that was great. Threw him a birthday party and he wanted a red velvet cake, so I had to make that, and I had to make it gluten-free because I am gluten-free, so had to leave icing the cake till the next morning because he insisted that he wanted to be part of icing and decorating his cake. So I got my way and I iced the cake, but then I left him to decorate it, which was really great for him, and he was happy as a clam because he got to put sprinkles and all sorts on it. And then off he went for a cub camp over the weekend. So I actually didn't spend his birthday with him because he was away, but at least we celebrated the day before, which was super fun. And yeah, so that was the bulk of our weekend. Hubby and I got to go out for a date on Sunday because the older boys were away. They're busy training for hiking events next weekend. So yeah, that was quite cool. got to go out and just him and I, just the two of us. So that was pretty special. And then I managed to do some colouring and a bit of more painting. So hopefully I can do an end of the month video, you know, coloured pages video and all that. Okay, let me do the squirrel. Okay, we'll do it a red squirrel. So I'm going to use, I think, beige. Okay, so this is beige. And I think I'm going to do his claws like black. And I will try and create a nice bushy tail. He's got such a cute little face. I need a burnt sienna because I think they're quite brown. we have a family of squirrels in the neighbor's oak tree, and I think it was early this morning we had 2 squirrels in the garden, and they were frolicking happily up and down, looking for acorns and all that sort of thing. And oh, they are just so cute. But they are not red squirrels, they are the grey squirrels. And my middle son has quite mixed feelings for them, because he does not appreciate the fact that the red squirrels they brought about because they're not indigenous to the UK, so they brought some type of parasite or disease that kills off the red squirrels. So he kind of is quite indignant about this, and so I think that the squirrels are just really cute, sweet little creatures, and he feels very strongly about them. And I said to him, but I don't know if it's really their fault, because I don't think they intended to harm the poor red squirrels. But I get where you're coming from. Alright, so now I'm going to use some browns. Because even though they're red, they do have brown in them. So I like to make sure that I'm following kind of the direction of the hair and not just going in one direction, because hair often overlaps and crisscrosses. And I need an even darker, so I might use, I really need to use a grey, a 90% grey, but it's not working. Okay, let's bring in some like raspberry, just but sparingly. And then I'll go over it with maybe like a black. Kind of like accentuate that there's some flecks of red or something like that in his fur. Okay, I'm gonna go over that with my burnt ochre. I'm not having good luck today with my camera. I think my tripod is too up against my table, and every time my table moves it bumps the tripod. And then a 10% French grey, and you can use it as a blender, and the grey also helps to knock down any red. So if it's too red, you can knock it back with a grey pencil. Okay, so short of doing the background, that is the page done. So I'm going to follow the same technique for the rest of the house as I did around the house, and then the page will pretty much be done. I most likely am going to leave the background because I'm not really sure what I'm going to do. So I might leave the background plain, but you are most welcome to put in a background if you know what you want to do. Alright, so I'm going to zoom out so you can have a look and you can see. I'll try and tilt it away from the glare. Alright, so that's how it looks when there's no glare on it, and I think it doesn't look too bad. Alright, so that is the end of this page. I will finish up off camera, and then I think I'm just going to leave his paws light. Actually, if I go too dark it might not show. So yeah, thanks everyone for joining. I appreciate having you hang out with me, and I look forward to seeing you next week. I'm hoping I'm going to come back into Magical City. I've done this with gouache, and I'm going to do a whole Van Gogh scene on this page with oil pastels, and then I'll color the International Space Station with Inktense pencils. So maybe this one next week. We'll see how it goes. Alright everyone, thanks so much. Have a great week, and I will see you next week. Until then, happy coloring and bye for now.